Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another meeting of the Inkster City Council. Today is Monday, March the 6th, 2023, and the time is now 7:03 p.m. Before we call this meeting to order, please, if I could, Reverend Williams, in prayer.
Let us pray. Father God, we come no other way but leaning on your everlasting love. Realize, Father, we can't do nothing without you, so we just come to say thank you. And guide and lead us and tell us, Father, show us how to move this city forward. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All rise for pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Williams.
here.
Councilmember Washington. Absent. Councilmember Watley. Councilmember Chisholm. Councilmember Shaw.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Here.
And for the record, Mayor Wimberly.
Here, and let the record reflect that Councilman Chisholm said that he'll be running late for the meeting. All right, moving right into approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman. Do I make that now, table
You
that?
can if you want to make a motion and then
Okay, I got it.
that motion.
On that part of the plan, I'd like to just table it to this time.
Which one are you tabling? Which item are you tabling?
Planning,
You talking about the first reading?
yes,
First reading,
First
you want to
reading.
table that?
yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and properly second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Then we're gonna have a discussion in between
Okay.
as to the relevancy of it to begin with.
You the maker?
Did you want to make the motion? Did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah,
Reason why you tabling it?
yeah, I got a lot of questions. I figure like, there's a lot of things, concerns I have, therefore me to bring it tonight. We'll be here a while. I mean, it's up to you all. I mean, because the simple fact is, you know, you're throwing this out here, and I have the right to know exactly what I'm finna vote on.
So,
Okay.
would you like to have it in another forum, special meeting or town hall meeting?
I'll just table it now, and it's up to you to call it back on the agenda, right?
Yeah, but at some time, we're gonna have to discuss it,
I
so,
understand that,
whether we have a town hall.
but I'm not prepared tonight. I think we ought to have a public
Hearing.
hearing on it.
Well, we've had a public hearing. Let's make sure that we're being clear on this. So the public hearing actually happened in November. So, matter of fact, plan to come up to.
Well, if you have had one on there, I don't recall it.
Yeah, this item has been actually out in planning since 1st of December. So, go ahead. Just as it relates to how this got here.
So the Planning Commission had multiple work sessions regarding the marijuana ordinance in August and October. And then November 28th had a public hearing, as is protocol from the Michigan Planning and Zoning Enabling Act, as well as the City of Inkster's own code of ordinances. So the way that this is currently set up is the Planning Commission holds the public hearing and then recommends action to the legislative body, which is the City Council at this time. So that's how this took place, and that's why this is being reviewed now here.
And how is the community notified as it relates to the public hearing?
The community is notified with production of the public hearing notice in the Telegram News 15 days prior, and also on the city's website, and posted on the agendas in City Hall.
Okay.
Okay, a question I would have then, when was the public notified about the part in there about the green line?
So if you attended any of the Planning Commission meetings where we discussed this, including the November 28th meeting where the public hearing was held, there was a full discussion about the green zone. I don't want to get into too much detail because we're not actually talking about the discussion item right now, but that, for protocol purposes, was discussed at the Planning Commission meetings, including the November 28th meeting with the public hearing.
You say it was a closed session?
No, sir. Just the November 28th meeting while the public hearing took place. That was discussed at that meeting.
Go ahead, Councilwoman Wiley.
Yes, okay. I think it's pretty disingenuous of us to say there was a public hearing held when no one had any comments at this public meeting. There was no one there. So how can we responsibly make a decision about something when we haven't taken the pulse of the public? Because no one gave any public comment at this meeting. And the statute for public comments reads that the legislative body may hold a public hearing if it considers it necessary or otherwise required. And this is the public body, and I think we need a vote to consider if it's necessary, if we put out for another public hearing that the public is aware of, that the public can attend and make their wishes known. Because I refuse to make a decision when I haven't taken the pulse of my constituents.
Yeah, I totally agree. But as it relates to you saying disingenuous, let's you got to hold back on that a little bit. Just because it's for you to say that is disingenuous. Because
Well,
you put it, we put it out to the public. Well, let me,
that we
Councilwoman.
did something we didn't. I thought I had the floor.
We did. You just heard the plan.
But when you say
We
that,
went through
you give
everything that we
people the
needed to do.
impression that some sort of public comments were made when there were none because no one attended it.
Well, I didn't say that. What I did say was that we follow protocol as it relates to the public acts.
Well, the
rights of the
state
public.
statute
Yeah.
would be considered protocol.
Ma'am, you're confusing the situation.
No, I'm not. You're
Yes, you
trying to
are.
confuse the situation.
No, I'm not, because at the same time, I don't agree with it. So let me just
I'm
say
just
that,
asking
let me
for a
just say it
public
right out.
hearing.
So as it relates to this, what I'm suggesting is that we have an actual community town hall meeting. And then with that, as it relates to that, you can say that would be that public hearing, if that's the case. Because I sent this out to you, to this body over 2 months ago now, as it relates to all of this, asking for your comments, asking for your input, and saying, how should we go about this? So you wait to get into a public forum, and then you want to act like we didn't do what we were supposed to do.
We have done this before. This is not my first time with you asking me things, me sending you things, and those things never making the cut. So, all I'm saying is that we need to hear from our citizens. I'm not
totally
trying
agree
to
with that.
argue with you. I'm not trying to create a situation. I'm just saying, give them a chance to say what they need to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Where this is concerned. And I'm not talking about a town hall. I'm talking about a regular meeting where we can pass information.
Okay, so today is the first reading. So today would be the
You
first.
can't have a
Well,
first reading without a public hearing
Well, we've had the public hearing, man.
that no one attended. So how does it constitute a public meeting?
Okay, so would you like to reconsider another public hearing? Is that what we're asking?
I'm asking for the
Okay.
first one, yep, or the 12th one or the 15th, just so somebody is able to say what they feel.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what tonight was going to be about, and the next council meeting is going to be about. But at the same time, I yield to what you're saying. I'm fine with that. So as it relates to this issue, it sounds like we're going to table this issue for tonight, and then this body needs to agree on coming back for another public hearing specific to this. Is that what we're asking for? Okay. Is that what we're asking for?
That's fine,
Okay.
sir.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Did you have anything?
I asked that because the simple fact is, the part I seen in here, Mr. Mayor, I question is about the green zone
Right.
in my area, okay?
Right.
And I don't recall a public hearing, anything on that part,
Gotcha.
okay?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Mayor Pro Tem, go ahead, please.
When we have this, table it for next 2 weeks, can we just have this on the agenda and nothing else? And start it at 6 o'clock? Because it may run a longer time.
I'm totally okay with that if this
So
body
is
is
that fine?
okay with that.
Not
but
to
it
put
would be-
anything else on the agenda for that,
Jane, come back up here for a second, please.
I mean, if that's.
I want to
can
make
we
sure
do
make sure that we're doing this right. So as it
Right.
relates to, again, what Councilwoman Watley had presented to us as it relates to the public hearing and your expertise, how should we proceed?
So, as Councilwoman Watley has already explained, the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act does allow the legislative body to opt into a public hearing in addition to the statutory, pardon me, public hearing that was required at the Planning Commission. So this still follows all of the same 15-day notice requirements, et cetera.
Okay.
You can notice it for 6 PM if you so choose. It could be a special meeting or a regular meeting, however you want to handle that. But it's essentially the same as having a public hearing.
So it has to be
at any other-
15 days, so it can't be the next council meeting.
Correct.
So it's gotta be.
So
a
it would have to
special-
be the
Take
following.
it sometime in
council meeting.
April.
Okay, all right. I'm good with that. Okay, let's do that. So as it relates to discussing and making sure we're all on the same page, we're going to actually have a public hearing in April. So let's do that first meeting in April. We're going to start at 6 o'clock with this body.
As long as it follows the criteria set forth for notification of the public.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Which we do that. All right.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Anything else as it relates to the agenda?
So how would you do this? Do you want to remove it versus table me? Because if it's table, it has to come back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, just remove it.
You have to remove
Yeah,
it. You have
let's
to
remove
leave
it.
Because if
Can
it's
you-
table.
So move.
Yeah, it has to come back. It has to come back in 2 weeks.
So move.
To make
Move it off
it
the agenda.
okay, so you moved. Second. Oh, it's already been
Yeah,
seconded.
to remove it off.
All right,
Okay.
perfect. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, any nays?
There's one other thing on this agenda, if we're making corrections.
Yes, ma'am.
If you read, in the request for council action, the second page is, there's first reading of the amendment to occur tonight, at tonight's meeting. If no major, revisions are required, the second reading and adoption amendment can occur on March 6th. Today is March
Yeah,
6th.
gotcha.
So there's some corrections that need to be made in there, just for, record-keeping purposes.
Makes sense. Okay, I'm with you. Anything else? We've already said aye and all of that stuff, so we're good. All right, moving right along. Presentations. All right, PNC. Do we have PNC here tonight with us? Okay. I know that they had said that they were going to be here tonight. Okay, just a brief blurb. Did you? For PNC? Okay. For presentation? Okay. All right. Is Octavia Smith in the audience? No? Okay. Just a brief blurb as it relates to PNC Bank. PNC has a mobile unit that they've been having stationed over at the Western Wayne Family Health Center for a number of months. And people haven't really been attending and going to the actual branch, if you will. It's a mobile branch. So they want to come out and actually present to us, let us know as a public what they have and what they're willing to offer as it relates to working with the city of Inkster. So hopefully we can get them back on the agenda. And I know that's something that Octavia Smith was looking to have happen. All right. Moving right into item B. All right. Mr. Strowman?
It's Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority.
Okay.
Who the hand is the president.
All right. Perfect. Please. I know you made the request, ma'am. That's why I called you.
Right.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Honorable Mayor Patrick Wimberly.
Hi.
And council. I am Judith Hand, president of the Inkster chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, the Eta Iota Omega chapter. It was the 1960s. John F. Kennedy was elected president of the United States. Chubby Checkers started a new dance craze, the twist. Inkster's own Marvelettes, mentored by our charter member, Shirley Sharpley, exploded on the scene with their hit, Please, Mr. Postman. In fact, I can remember my childhood friend, Linda Algie, and I would run out, and when we saw the postman and deliver the mail, we would sing that song. However, there's one date that has great significance, February 6, 1960. On that date, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, the first black sorority, chartered Eta Iota Omega in Inkster. Eta Iota Omega's aim, aspiration, ambition, dream, tenet is to continue to provide service to the children, family, community, to all mankind in Inkster and the surrounding communities. During the last 63 years, we have worked hard to achieve that goal. We have provided summer reading and art programs. We have provided workshops on several economic issues, such as financial literacy, credit recovery, estate planning. We have worked with Operation Refuge, Unity in the Community, Inkster Task Force, Inkster Police Department. Now, our sorority is embarking on a new program initiative, enhancing our environment. Just today, I was looking at the news regarding a train incident in Ohio. I was struck how this environmental dilemma impact not only our lives, but also the lives of children and their future. But what distressed me most is when I heard they were going to move that toxic waste to Michigan, specifically Western Wayne County, and how this can disenfranchise and destroy our community. Our sorority realized the importance of environment and will serve our communities to enhance that environment. We will emphasize several key areas. They are tree planting, community and home gardens, waste reduction, shredding, and electronic recycling. Let me just briefly go over each one. Let's first start with tree planting. We need our trees. They help our air. They help us breathe. They enhance the environment. They beautify our area. One day we want to plan to celebrate is Earth Day, where we will be having a tree planting in several areas, working in partnership with some of your community organizations. Let's see. Our next area is community and home gardens. As we know, the United States is divided, those who have and those who have not. I can illustrate this with our food situation. For example, the affluent Beverly Hills, which boasts 9 supermarkets that serve 32,000 residents. By contrast, we go in Metro Detroit area, can you find a supermarket? In fact, I can remember when my mother, she had to use a CVS to get milk. Not only that, the stores that we have give us substandard food. Waste reduction. According to Play It Forward report, nearly 40 million Americans lack the same level of access to recycling. Even in my area, you have some areas that have recycling and others that do not. And that's based on socioeconomic. Only 1/3 of recyclable homes with recycling collection service are recovered due to the lack of access. Shredding Day, which we're working on, trying to have a shred place. We've done it before. We're going to try to get another shred truck, and it was very successful. It helps us make our community and our world a more sustainable, equitable place to live. Destroying sensitive and private information avoids pitfalls of identity theft. Diverting unwanted technology away from landfills where 85% of it ends up, and putting it into hands of people who need it most. Finally, that's it. We are here to serve you so that we can make Inkster the great place that it is. I want to introduce first the members of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Could you please stand? Thank you. I also would like to introduce our chairman of our Enhancing of Our Environment Committee. Linda, please stand. She is our chairman. Our co-chairman, Ms. China. Are there any questions?
How can we assist?
Belinda? Our chair, I'm gonna have my chair talk. Oh. Good question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ladies?
Well, good evening, the Honorable Mayor and City Council members, and my I'm Belinda Evans Abio, and my co-chairperson, chairman is China Cochran, and we do things together.
Good evening. Good evening.
All right. Was there a question?
How would they help us?
Well, one of the things that we wanted to do, we wanted to get the support of the government and the community. We want to educate the community in terms of the importance of planting trees. We know that it reduces a lot of the air pollution. It just makes the communities much healthier. We do know that our children, especially our black children in urban areas, so much asthma, so many respiratory diseases and other things like that. And if the community would be educated, they would be more involved in what's happening with climate change. There have been many studies that have shown that, yes, it affects our communities and communities of color. It affects us, of course, greatly. But we are not a part of the number one decision-making when it comes to where waste is going to be placed in our communities. Because we are dealing with the everyday life, keeping lights on, making sure we're not being evicted, the climate change issues are not really on the table as readily. One of the things that we plan on doing, we want to educate our young children first. We, as older, seasoned, we're kind of set in our ways, and it might take a little while for us to begin to change old habits, change habits that are not going to be conducive to our health. So we want to work with the young children. We want to work with them in the elementary schools. There are programs that we are networking with, and I think I'll let China talk about those programs because she's been a part of those programs.
Okay. In addition, we also have some concerns of the way that you, your trash, the way you collect and dispose of your trash. We have questions about the landfill. We definitely want to be able to get permission to plant trees in the community, but we also want to work with the Arbor Foundation. Our national sorority is working with the Arbor Foundation, and we'd like to make Inkster a tree city. And so we need your buy-in for that because it's going to move very quickly. Next month is Arbor Day and Earth Day. So we want to move very quickly, and we just need your buy-in for all the programs that we're going to be activating in Inkster.
Sounds good. Easy enough. I don't think this body has a problem with that. We're looking forward to it. So if you could please get with my executive assistant, he's sitting right there. He'll get you guys on the schedule so we can get to work.
Okay, thank you very much.
The city of Inkster just received a grant for 100, I believe it's 100 trees. How many trees?
Received the grant for.
Come up to the podium, please, sir.
So we received the grant for 66 trees, I believe, right? $150 a tree, which makes it about $9,000 to plant 66 trees in the community. So maybe you can help us out with that. Yeah.
We would love to help you plant the trees. We would love for 13 of those trees to be planted in honor of Alpha Kappa Alpha charter members of Eta Iota Omega. So if we wouldn't mind, that was one of our goals, is to plant a tree in honor of our 13 charter members.
Okay, sounds good. We'll get with Mr. Bivens. We'll work that out.
And one more thing,
Go ahead.
excuse me,
Yeah.
we plan on either Arbor Day or Earth Day. That's when we want to bring a lot of the programming in for our young children. We're working with Department of Natural Resources, the state of Michigan, and they are going to be giving tree samplings to the children for planting. But at that day, we want that to be a big day, and we would like a proclamation from the city of Inkster.
That sounds great. All right. We're gonna make it grand. Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your continued efforts. All right. Before we move into the rest of the agenda, the chair recognizes the Honorable Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib.
Well, Inkster Strong, it's your Congresswoman. I'm here to let you know we are going to have a town hall to hold DTE accountable. It is going to be Our Power, Our Communities Holding DTE Accountable Town Hall. We are going to have it at Westland City Hall. It's going to be Monday, March 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. Please get it out to folks. Again, it's going to be Monday, March 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. We want to document people's, direct impact. I have a resident that's been out of power for 12 days. They need to be able to hear from you all. What we're going to do is bring in two organizations that have been working very, very closely. I don't know if you all remember, but they tried to get about an 8.something% increase last year. And it was We the People Michigan and the Michigan Environmental Justice Coalition, very grassroots organizations that worked very hard to get a public hearing. We got it at Wayne County Community College. Hundreds of people, even from Ann Arbor, came down for this public hearing. They got an increase, though. It was like 0.07. It was a nice pushback on the 8%. You all should know, a week before the big power outage, and we've had several, they requested about a 14% increase in your rate. They also just decided they're going to, if you all haven't gotten it, some of you got it direct in the mail, some of you didn't check your email because sometimes we don't pay attention, but they're going to do these increase in peak hours of 35% increase between the hours of, Mayor, 2 to 7 in your home. I mean, so we got to hold them accountable. What I love about these two organizations that speaking truth, and they pay attention to their board meetings. They pay attention that they deferred some maintenance so they could do shareholder buyouts. They're not going to say it that way, but it's very obvious they did that. So even though, again, I want you to know, we've had storms all throughout our region, like in Midwest, we still are always one of the top either the top one or the second or third of the most outages in the region, especially when everybody else has storms. And so it's really important because as my mother, you know how hard it was to tell my mother, she's like, Mama, I just bought a bunch of meat. And I said, Mama, you can't, they're going to give you 25, 30, I think it was at the time. They used to say 25, Mayor, after 5 days. So again, you all know, my mother just looked at me. She's like, but this is all of our residents. It's not just my mom, but know this. We can't just sit by idly. So we're going to use the power of my office, the power to convene, to bring folks together. Please attend. Please get it out to folks. I don't want, everybody's like, why you have it there? Look, we're trying to get it as quickly as possible. It was easy when I have a council member calling me and saying, hey, we'll make City Hall available so that we can bring folks together. Especially if you know some seniors that can't come. If you want to come on their behalf and share their story, do that. We're also going to allow, we did do a virtual town hall where folks could chime in. But if you know anybody that can't come or doesn't, we are going to be able to pass out information of how to call and make comments in. Tomorrow, they even have a pre-hearing or something on the rest of the schedule in regards to DTE. We need to, again, allow folks that, because Mayor, even when they say, well, you can speak up and say something to Michigan Public Service Commission. Michigan Public Service Commission, unless they act, they will get the automatic increase. So we have to, again, show up and try to organize. So these two organizations, again, are coming. They're going to gather people's information, engage them, send out the link, keep people involved so that we can push back on the rate increases. As again, even though we are paying these high rates, we're one of some of the most expensive rates in the nation. We have the most unreliable grid in the nation. So again, I just wanted to come and let you all know this just got confirmed today. And please, if you can do anything to get the Western Wayne community out to this town hall, I'd really appreciate it. And you know this, our frontline folks we've been subsidizing for their lack of investment. I've had 911 shut down because their app fell through and people were calling, they number couldn't get through. I've had like Livonia, Dearborn Heights, Westland told me they never saw that many calls come into 911 that night because their numbers were off. I don't know if you noticed that night around 10 o'clock. And so it is important, and they're not reimbursing us for picking up the fact that they haven't got their stuff in order. And again, it's really important to do that. So again, it's going to be Monday, March 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. Any questions about that?
Go ahead, Councilwoman Weller.
Yes. Is there anything that we can do to impact the fact that they're a monopoly? And at this point, they're a monopoly
So glad you asked.
that cannot handle the volume of customers they're supposed to serve. So when that happens, they usually break things of that nature up. And this is what needs to happen. They need smaller chunks so they can service those chunks. So I have already written Stabenow. I called your office too.
We have a bill, a resolution.
With these complaints
for
and things
public
of that
power.
nature, and Dana Nessel and the rest of them, everybody down the line.
Appreciate that.
That's the crux of the problem, is the monopoly.
Yeah. So she's absolutely right. Even though they run ads and they do these beautiful kind of like branding out there, it's not like we have any other choice.
Right.
That's it. We're stuck with them. And so it is important to understand the importance of the fact that now we got this Michigan Public Service Commission, quasi-governmental thing overseeing this agency and not doing what it's supposed to do to hold them accountable. I always share the Lansing data because Lansing has public power, Councilwoman. Mm-hmm. And the first power, big surge when it came in, they had 10 outages. That's it. The second time, when it just started raining, they had 0 outages. And I say that because I think it's important to understand, especially critical services like this, and I argue all the time, should remain public. It's going to be a long fight. So Congresswoman Cori Bush, myself, and Congressman Jamal Bowman have introduced a resolution about making this public utilities. We truly believe water, gas, lights, all those things are critical services for people to live, and it should be owned by the public. And so we push back on that narrative that, they continue to come to us and say the private sector can do better. It's obvious to me they put shareholders before their customers and before our residents, and so we got to do something about it. But I appreciate you doing that. You will get a response from my office, so. Any other questions?
Please, Councilman Chin.
Yeah, this is a comment. I wanted to say I'm happy to hear about the town hall for the simple fact that when I was working in Rep. Jones's office in Lansing, over in Councilman Shaw's district, we had some residents who called up there. And what would happen is on a bright sunny day, the power would just go out. And this is during the pandemic. You had people working from home who couldn't get on the internet. They had kids at the house, and you're just going through a tailspin. And I contacted Eagle, and they put me in the correct in touch with the correct people, and they began to escalate the issues because what the young ladies and the neighbors over there were doing were copying me on the emails they had been sending to DTE representatives who were non-responsive, and the issues weren't getting resolved. It got to the point where DTE would contact them and let them know, hey, your power just went out. Because they knew, and I know from a utility standpoint for working out there, the infrastructure is failing. They don't want, the lifespan might be 20 years, 30 years, but it costs to replace it. So they squeeze everything they can out of it to get every single dollar and keep increasing the rate, saying they're fixing infrastructure. But in the end, what they communicated to the residents over there was, well, we have a 5-year plan and we'll be upgrading all this. That doesn't fix the problem now. You know, you're saying 5 years, and then when 5 years get here, you say, oh, we got delayed, oh, we don't have these parts, and so on and so forth. So I'm just happy to hear that.
No, Councilman, you should know, they've had $1 billion, profit margin. They got hundreds of millions of dollars from the COVID, during the pandemic, and even though they were shutting my folks off still, even when they got over $200 or so million of COVID money, again, to help, provide for families, again, the most vulnerable that, lost their job because they're frontline workers. They don't have hours. The restaurant they worked at is closed and so forth. Know that they have the resources. They're going to continue to push back and blame the weather. And I don't know you all. I grew up here. It's always been bad weather. I don't know what this, I remember skidding out to school, they shut down school. It was nothing. We used slip and slide to school. I don't know where this is all coming from, as if, of course we have the climate crisis. I agree 100%. But why all of a sudden they're blaming the trees, they're blaming the weather, they're blaming everything, when honestly, if you look, no one's ever seen anything like this. Instead, they're worried more on marketing and PR, fudging the numbers, having information out there. Again, tell us the truth. Tell us you don't have, sorry, but we didn't budget for that because we paid our shareholders too much. Be honest. Tell us where you're spending the money, because it just keeps going. The rates just keep going up. And look, they're asking for 14%, y'all. Right. That's a lot of money for our residents.
And just to piggyback on what Councilwoman Wiley was saying in regards to a monopoly, I know for a fact, for working for the utility company, they will brag per quarter how much they profited in the billions.
Always.
And then, like you said, those shareholders and the CEO gets a raise and a jet and limousine, and they got to pay the pilots and all of that stuff. And it's a slap in the face.
It is.
Especially coming from a community like Inkster, where we could use every single resource that's out there to help our community sustain and be self-sustaining. So
yeah, and look, for all my residents that are here, please, and those listening, this is your time. Don't wait until people with titles and elected folks to do it for you. You can do it. Because I'm telling you, because they're going to come to your folks and they're going to, do what they do very well. But if we keep pushing back, because it was the people that got the 8% increase backed off of. It was the people. And they pushed back really, really hard enough to the point where they, recently we got 500 more comments into Michigan Public Service Commission on the request for the rate increase. We got to get more. And so the more we continue to push back, the more it's going to be harder for those that have the power in the state house and the state senate, and those that have, again, oversight over this, they got to answer to us. And so for all of y'all listening, just make sure that this is your moment and your time, because all I keep doing is looking at the weather, and everyone's doing it now. And they're like, oh my God, it's going to snow on Friday. What is that going to mean? People shouldn't have to live like that, especially when we're paying for the service that we're obviously is lacking, because they're investor-owned company.
Right.
They focus on the investors.
Right. One other thing.
We are the investors, but they don't seem to.
What was the purpose of the 4 bottles of water and the?
I don't know, Councilwoman.
Movie tickets.
Movie tickets, Mayor.
Yeah, that's insulting.
Slap in the face.
Well, I hope you
That's
come to the town
insulting.
hall and you tell them that. It is very hard when I call as a member of Congress and say, hey, this is happening. A couple of my senior buildings literally were out for a whole week. And many of them don't have the generators. They don't. And so, when they tell me to have them go to the the van in Kroger's. I'm not telling my residents to go to the van at Kroger's. I'm not doing it. You know, I sent them out the warming stations that are led by the city and the municipalities, but it's hard. I'm not gonna tell them to go get water and
You
movie
don't get
tickets
that
and things
anyway,
like that.
Kroger's don't.
Yeah.
They don't give you no water.
Yeah.
Well, consider me.
I don't, like I told one resident that took it, I said, take it, don't matter, you still go submit a comment. Doesn't mean go don't submit a comment just because you took
You
it.
no water.
Will count me as a foot soldier.
I appreciate that. I hope to see you on Monday, Councilwoman.
Oh, you will.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much for being our champion. Working for us. Thank you so much. It's at the city of Westland, Westland City Hall on March the 13th.
Okay.
Are we gonna get that on the, public access
Yep.
and the website?
Definitely. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure Troy is working that up right now. All right, moving right into our consent agenda.
So move.
I'm sorry? You say what?
We should hold that included in
Can I move on?
yeah, you can just remove it and.
How we did.
Trying to see what you're talking about right now. What you talking about?
Removed, planning thing off the agenda.
Oh, okay.
So we'll just.
Gotcha, okay. All right, all right. Okay, all right. Consent agenda?
So move with the removal of
The minutes.
the minutes on first reading.
So it's not anything at all then? Okay, so we don't need to do anything with that. Moving right along into boards and commissions. Any boards and commissions going around? Hearing none, moving right into new business. Madam Clerk?
Item 9A is to consider authorizing the Director of DPS to make an application to the Wayne County Department of Public Services for a permit to maintain the stormwater management system and detention pond at the location of Berger Baylor School at 28865 Carlisle in Inkster, Michigan, in accordance with the drawings attached as Exhibit A in terms of long-term maintenance plan attached as Exhibit B and the Wayne County Stormwater Ordinance and Administrative Rules.
What's your pleasure?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Any discussion?
Question.
Oh,
I just had one question. Now, are we going to be responsible for any of the maintenance upkeep for this project here?
Mr. Bivens?
To the body, to the viewing audience, to the public here, no, sir. There's a letter attached to that council request. It always required each vendor to supply to the city. They said they won't hold the city harmful.
Yeah.
They're responsible for their own, like we're responsible for our own.
Yeah, I see the February 21st.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay. Councilman Chisholm?
Yes, that's pretty much what I was gonna ask too, just for the simple fact that we know that it's not operated by us.
Right.
So that answers my question.
All right. Any others? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item B, please.
Consider adopting a resolution on behalf of the City of Inkster for closure of Inkster Road on July 13th, 2023 through July 17th, 2023 for Inkster Summer Festival.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Well,
Moved and properly second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item C, please.
Consider adopting a resolution on behalf of the City of Inkster for closure of Inkster Road on May 29th, 2023 for the Memorial Day Parade.
so move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved and properly second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am?
Okay, through the chair. This is going down Inkster Road again. Has there been any resolutions referencing passing the Veterans Memorial?
One more time, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay, this is going down Inkster Road again.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, has there been any resolution as far as its requirement to pass the Veterans Memorial, which is here in front of City Hall?
What we did was we actually duplicated it last year and put it on to Inkster Road and South River, where the
So
stage
this
was
is
at.
the same thing and everything? It's
Yes,
built
ma'am.
to the same stuff and you put it on Inkster
No,
Road?
not built of the same thing. It was basically, like a banner, if you will.
Okay, so it wasn't the Veterans Memorial, it was a banner that you
Right.
passed by?
Right.
Okay, so the answer is no. Okay, thank you.
All right. Any others? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays?
Okay.
All right, ayes have it, motion carries. Moving right into item D, please.
Consider authorizing the Inkster Fire Department to purchase a used ambulance from the city of Canton in the amount of $35,725.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We move to properly second discussion.
Yes, sir.
Please, Councilwoman Watley.
To the fire chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what kind of condition are we talking about and how many miles? Is that all in the packet that I should have read, that part?
It's about 100,000.
100,000 miles?
Yeah.
Is that,
It's a
what's
10
that standard for ambulance?
For a 10-year-old truck, that's, yes.
It's good or bad?
Well,
Or,
it's not bad, but we're in a dire situation right now, and I had the truck checked out by our mechanics. I sent the oil sample down to Indianapolis to have the engine checked out thoroughly. It came back that it was a good truck, considering the age of it, being a 10-year-old truck. Keep in mind, a new truck is $450,000. So this was my way to keep a truck on the road, because right now, I have none.
you have no ambulance?
I got a borrowed truck I'm using. I borrowed from a community. So we're in a bad spot right now.
Question. And we know the answer, but as it relates to the public, what happened to the ones that you have?
We have been very unlucky over the last year. We had 3 ambulances get hit at intersections. People hitting them as they're trying to get through the intersection, and that's why we're in this situation right now. Fortunately, no one got killed or seriously injured, but it damaged the heck out of our trucks. And that comes down to yielding. When you hear a siren or the lights are flashing, that means please give us the right of way, because we're trying to get to somebody to help them. And people are not doing that. They're running into us and tearing them up. I don't know how to explain that kind of luck, honestly, and I won't call it luck, but that kind of bad luck. But it's been bad.
Okay, what kind of longevity do we expect from something this old and whatever?
Well,
What-
I can't give you a definitive answer on that.
Of course not, but
but-
just rough guess
I think it'll hold up and it'll keep us in service.
for any, just ballpark.
When I run volume, maybe 4 or 5 years.
Okay, and in the interim, are there any plans to?
Yes, I just put in a grant for a new one. Hopefully we'll get that. It was the Distress City grant to try to get a new vehicle. We do have one of our damaged trucks that was repaired, and it should be back this end of this week. So that will give us 2. With the call volume in this city, we need 3. We had 3, but unfortunately, we've been getting hit at these intersections, and it's just a bad situation. There's really no good answer to it. We don't have the money to just go out and get another one when one gets hit. It doesn't work like that.
But we still have our agreement with the,
We still have mutual aid,
right,
but you can only do that so far, because they're gonna say, look, you get your stuff together over there. We're not here to take care of your community. So we've been fortunate that Dearborn Heights loaned us a truck that we've been using for the last week, but that's it right now. That's all we got. So we're in a bad spot.
okay, well, you jerked my heartstrings.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it's been jerking mine too. I've never seen anything like this. There's a lot of fire trucks on the road every day, all over. And
Well, I'm hearing y'all all the time, so I thought there
busy.
was plenty more.
Yeah.
We're busy, but we're just the unlucky ones. That first hit was right in front of the fire station. Guy ran around everybody through traffic and smacked us.
Are we catching these people?
Yeah, we're catching them, but
Oh, yeah.
the last two, the plan is to, let our insurance company go after their insurance company.
Okay.
That's
So
the
we
plan.
can look forward to some insurance.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right, that's it.
All right, anything else?
That's, oh, go ahead.
Councilman Chisholm?
Yeah, I actually was gonna ask about that process, as far as, cause I know if it was the other way around and we bumped somebody at 5 miles an hour, they gonna sue for as much as they can, on the city's behalf, on the back of the taxpayers. So I was wondering, how does that work on the opposite end when someone hits us because they weren't attentive to the lights and the sirens because they got the music up too loud or in a rush of trying to go around everything, just like when people think they can beat the train and the consequence is they get hit by the train. So I don't mean to sound morbid, but I was curious to that, how does that process work? How does it work?
Basically, what we do is we send the trucks to be fixed, if they can be. We have to pay for it at that time, and then we submit that invoice to our insurance company to go after theirs, to try to get us reimbursed.
Okay.
That's how it works. So hopefully that will work out.
So, and just further, I guess, on that, and not to belabor this subject anymore, because we need a truck or a rig, is that happening in every one of the situations?
What's that?
Where as far as it's on the table right now with our insurance company going after their insurance companies to coop any funds that we can towards these repairs or replacements?
The first truck that got hit about a year ago, that driver, they didn't have insurance. That was the one that was coming down Michigan Avenue, running from the police. That was a stolen car. So that one, we didn't have anybody to go after, or we sold that truck. And that's how I'm paying for this one, with that funds from that sale.
I guess that in that case, that's a conversation we need to speak legally about, because if we're not pursuing any type of assets that the person responsible for that to try to recoup these funds, we just kind of at a loss on the back of the taxpayers.
Well, the second two we are going after. We
Okay.
do have their insurance information. They are insured, but unfortunately, that was a stolen vehicle. I mean, I don't know if Chief want to chime in on that, but there's not a lot we can do there. We tried, but
sounds like a loophole. But all right, thank you.
Councilman Chisholm, and to everybody else, just to give you,
Speak up a little bit more.
when there's an accident, the information is funneled to our insurance company and to our attorney. And then we do go after people, but like the chief said, that accident, the person had no insurance, so we're at a loss there.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying.
They
It's a
had no
loophole. It
insurance.
ain't
But the other two, we will.
Okay.
We do process, we do.
Do you have any limbs? Nothing.
I mean,
Thank you.
we
All
do.
right.
Say that.
Councilman Shaw?
Now, I know you spoke, Chief, that we do have the funds, I've seen the funds, that we can be able to purchase this truck. Now, the other thing is, with the insurance, I mean, we have a high deductible. I mean, that's the cost I'm looking at, can we really afford? Because the deductible is so high. And I mean, I know we went through this process before with the insurance people coming and saying that they was gonna try to give us a discount, this, that, and the other, but I know our history still speaks for itself. We can't really get that type of low deductible so we can be able to take care of the business that we need to take care of.
right, that is a problem.
Our deductible is what, 150,000?
150. Still 150, 150.
Yeah, so like this last truck repair was like 106,000 or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, that's
Yeah.
all, Mr. Chair.
The
Yes,
current
ma'am.
insurance company we have, USI, is working on bringing that down.
Yeah.
As we speak. They have done everything they said they were gonna do from the beginning, and they're looking at other ways to bring down prices for us in that area. So I'm pleased with them, and I have every faith that they'll be able to lower that cost for us, because that's what they're working on at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
We want that. I mean, but our history still speaks, so.
Yeah. Okay. Any others? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item E, please.
Consider approval of an offer to purchase 17 acres of land commonly known as Stratford Place in the amount of $125,000 and for the administration to enter a development agreement with Berkshire Development for Stratford Place housing.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Or second.
Moving properly second. Discussion?
Mr. Chair, I know it made mention about in the discussion, on the write-up, that it talked about a timeline. So is there a timeline for them to be able to complete the building of this project, or is that something else?
We do have the developer here, please. Mr. Sal. Come up front, please. And just for the record to the general public, this property has been sitting empty for, I believe.
I ask one question. Any questions that I pose, if you speak up a little bit, I'm kind of.
Okay. Yeah. No, just for the general public as it relates to this particular piece of property, this is the Stratford Place where you have condominiums in the front, and then in the back area, in the gated area along the railroad tracks, is that piece of land. It's actually been, unfortunately, it's been used as a dump site for a number of years, and a legal dump site. The trash that's back there is unbelievable. So it's been really on the taxpayers to keep up with this particular property. Of course, as we talk about insurance, the city, it's on the city's liability. So we're looking to put this on the tax roll and to have a development there. So when we talk about the amount of money, it's actually, just for the general public, it's $12,000 per acre that has been assessed at. That's about $204,000 if we said, okay, that's the going value. The offer as it relates to the RFP that we put out, and it's been out actually for about a month. We got back Mr. Sala, and his passion is actually into developing this property. So, Mr. Sala, if you could, please. The question was, how long do you think this development will take from start to finish when you start, when you're proposing?
Once I get the environmental aspect of the property cleared, I can probably get the 17 acres developed in 1.5 to 2 years. The utilities are there, but as you mentioned, there's quite a bit of contamination there. According to the Department of Environmental Quality, the southwest corner of the property qualifies for brownfield money. And I'm sure that's what the city council doesn't want to hear, that because it's going to cost you guys abating the taxes until we get the property cleaned up.
So say that one more time so we can understand what you're saying. When you say abating the property.
The southwest corner of the property qualifies for brownfield, which is an indication there's quite a bit of contamination on that corner. We don't know how deep it is until we complete our soil borings. And depending on how deep it goes, to get it up to residential standards, to allow us to build residential properties, we won't know how much it's going to cost to clean that up until we get the soil borings.
So when you say, as it relates to the city abating taxes, are you saying that until you actually get it ready to develop, you're saying that we wouldn't necessarily receive any taxes? Is that what you're saying?
If it's not cost prohibitive and we apply for brownfield money, obviously brownfield is a tax abatement.
Okay. But that'll be through the brownfield tax credit?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, yeah, so that wouldn't necessarily affect the citizens. That's what I want to make sure that we're clear on that.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Okay. That's what I want to just make sure that we're clear as we're talking in the general public about selling land and then the development of land, of course, and then, of course, our duty here as this body is to create revenue and then, of course, oversee that revenue for our expenditures. So we want to see, well, me personally, of course, my personal goal is to develop as much land as possible in the city, especially that's owned by the city, because the city shouldn't be owning land outside of the structures that we utilize. we should have that into private partnerships to develop, and then, of course, put it back on the owner of the property to take care of it. Right now, we can't hold anybody responsible for this property but ourselves. And it's, if you've been over there, it's really an eyesore to the city and the people that live there in that area.
Our intent is to develop the whole 17 acres.
Okay?
And we're, the high school was, Inkster High School was there at one time, and I suspect probably the demolition contractor left a lot of asbestos buried there, which does cost to remediate, but not if it was oil and liquid contaminants.
Just for general public, the old Inkster High School was located at Harrison and Michigan Avenue, where the Stratford Place is now, currently. So, yeah, so when, and it became, you know, a nursing home.
That's nursing home.
Type of place. But yeah, so we get it.
Okay. A lot of that was cleaned up.
Right, so hopefully a lot of it was cleaned up
A lot of
already.
it was cleaned up.
Yeah, but it's just been a lot of dumping over there for the last number of years. Okay.
They're still dumping back there. I don't know how they do it, but they're still dumping back there.
Yeah, because it's an association that's there in the condominiums, correct? It's a homeowners association that's there currently?
They're not overseeing the 17 acres. The homeowners association it's not really overseeing the Stratford Place, but it's completed right now. For lack of a better word, they don't have any money.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Okay, it states here that there are structures there now. Will you be tearing those down or rehabbing the existing structures?
Right now, there's no structures on the property. There is 18 basements there.
So, Mr. Sala, go back to the podium, and then I'll try to, as loudly as I can, speak. What you're talking about is the next one, as it relates to the 4 units that's there. 2 are owned by the city.
Okay,
That's been dilapidated. They never were completed, and they came back to the city in tax and first right of refusal program back in like 2014.
so that's the 6 structures, unfinished units,
We
south of,
Yeah, we own 2 of those.
so that leaves 4?
Right, so
If my
he's,
math is correct.
yes, ma'am. So he's working to negotiate with those private owners
Oh,
that
I
own
see.
those to
Okay, so
actually get
that's
those
not
with.
included in this?
No,
Okay,
the 17 acres is just that flat land that's back there.
That's a picture of it.
And it is a picture of it in your packet.
yeah, I see that, but when it said here that the completion of the 6 unfinished units south of the proposed 17 acres,
Yeah, he was
that's
just
not
saying,
part of the deal?
no, that's in the next item. So that's for the 2 that the city owns. He's trying to get the whole thing and actually finish them all together so it'll look uniform, of course.
Okay, I hate to bring it up, but somebody has to. Annapolis Point.
Yes.
Okay, there was an agreement with that developer, and it said the city is in partnership with them, and we ended up paying off that when he walked away from it. Is
Yeah.
there any such contingency within this contract that that keeps us from being held liable for something like that again? Because everybody here knows, you know, Annapolis Point is like a 4-letter word here.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, of course. As it relates to just any developments going forward in any property that we sell, we make sure that we get a bond issuance from the developer as it relates to completing what they said they're gonna continue to do. And then, of course, protecting the city, so if they don't do what they're supposed to do, then we just get the property back. It just reverts back to the city itself. So, we don't want the property back, of course, and we're not necessarily in partnership with them. We don't want to be in partnership with developers, because then, of course, when he just mentioned abatements and
Yeah, that was
all
a
that other
nasty
stuff,
word,
no,
too.
we don't want to do that. We want to hold them responsible for what they said they're going to do, and then if they don't, then, of course, the deed and, you know, the title will revert back to us.
And just a footnote, when you say we don't want the property back, But.
No, we want the, if
to
something
be,
happens.
no, I'm saying, but to be honest with you, land is a finite resource.
Yes, ma'am.
We're not making any more of that.
That's right.
So we need to, if we can, hang on to some for a later use, or it may amortize itself or something
Yeah.
of that nature,
Yeah.
where it's worth more to the city, then, yeah, we want our land. That's
Yeah.
just a footnote.
Yeah, I
So,
totally agree. I totally agree, and not saying that as it relates, and understand, I'm looking at the 100-year plan for the city, and looking back on what happened the last 100 years, and just of my life, my 48 years as it relates to these properties, this is a 20-year problem right here. It hasn't been developed. So for us to hold on to it, and then we don't have the money to take care of it either. So we want to make sure that when we're looking at this stuff, that we're just looking at the whole plan. So I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that, because we can't afford any more bills.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All
that
right.
was it
Thank
for
you,
me.
Mayor, for clarifying all that. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Any others? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays?
Nay.
Ayes have it, motion carries. Item F, please.
It's to consider approval of,
I heard somebody say nay. Who did it?
Go ahead. Item F, please.
Area, she and nay.
Just hold on one second. Go ahead.
consider approval of case number LD 23-03 and offer to purchase 2 residential units located at 28258 and 28202 Forston Lane between Stratford Lane and Wagner Lane in the amount of $10,000.
What's your pleasure?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, it's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Sala. You can sit down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, bring us to public participation. We ask that when you approach the podium, please state your name for the record, and then 3 minutes, you will be on a timer. When you hear the ding go off, please respect that, and let's give other folks in the public a chance to speak. Rosie Thompson? You want to take your time, Ms. Thompson? I wanted you at the top of it, because I meant to get you doing presentations. But I can wait on you. You want me to move to the next person? Okay. Because I'm really excited about this. This is, you guys help her, please. Safe, help her out. There you are, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I know, I said the same thing. Show them the public comments.
Patrick. Got another one of them. He ain't got none.
Okay. It's cold. Okay. Brandon Davis?
Does she need a copy or does she want to?
No, don't worry about that. Go ahead.
Hi,
ma'am.
Mayor, City Council.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm sorry to have to come back to you about the same issue that I'm dealing with, but as I've come to you prior about the lot behind my house that is actually a pond now, became a really dangerous situation with the power outage. They could not get our power back on because of the water that's behind the house, because like I said, the poles are in the water. So DTE could not get to the poles to get the lines out of the water because there was no way for them to get to that pole. That water is not a little bit of water that you can wade through. It is knee deep. So they had to bring in special equipment, and they had to actually line our property with like wood planks and brought this machine in to roll as far as they could to where the water stops, and then elevate the person up to that pole in order to get us our power. We had partial power within like 5-6 days, but after that, they had to bring in special equipment because they just couldn't get to that pole. It's been red tagged, but they're just amazed at what is behind our house. With the water and the retention, we literally have ducks and geese and just everything back there because it looks like I'm on a waterfront. It literally looks like I live, and that's a pond. It's just a field. It's my backyard. And I cannot do anything in that yard. It's not going to dry up this year. It's just too much water. It's too much water. So with DTE not being able to get access to that area, something has to be done. It has to be leveled with some dirt, some kind of drainage system, something has to be done. That's my main issue for that. And the other issue I have is, I don't know if you're aware, and I don't know what ventilation system that this weed dispensary has, but depending on where the wind blows, you can smell weed. I've had people come to my mother's home, which is on John Daly, and I've been very embarrassed when they say, "Who's smoking weed?" And I'm like, nobody's smoking weed, but it's coming from the dispensary. People coming in from outside of our community, they're coming in and they're standing on our porches, and I just can't imagine when the summertime comes, what type of smell. We're always bringing in something that has our air polluted, our quality of life and what we're breathing. I don't want to have to sit in my front. I can't sit in my back, but I don't want to have to smell weed as if that's a good smell to smell all the time. So I just want to let you know that as well. And then it's an ugly eyesore sight to come down John Daly and see whatever this brush yard is and all of the trees and bushes that are outside of the fence line that are supposed to be behind the fence. I don't know what's going on with that, but that is definitely an eyesore as well. It's just a mess, but that's my comments. And I just hope that this go around, somebody can come out and at least come to my home. I'm happy to take you to my backyard and just let you see just what I'm dealing with, what I'm talking about. Because I don't think you can envision it until you see it.
Yeah, just for the record, we've already cited that. That's with the judge right now, because that's private property.
Yes.
And the judge has to make that decision, and when it comes to her docket. So hopefully, it's on her docket. So we'll talk to her.
Okay.
But this is the legislative body.
Right.
And then once we cited that person, then it goes, of course, in a ticket form, and then they get called out for due process. So it's with the judge now. So hopefully they make them do something. We can't, what we do is we enforce the ordinances, but then when we write a person a ticket, it has to go to the judge for a decision. So we're waiting back for that decision, okay?
Well, please inform the judge that it's keeping us from having power
Yeah, for
when
sure.
we have
We'll
these
definitely do that, but I
outages.
think that at the same time too, I'll see if it's a hearing or something that's gonna happen, then we'll get you that information so you can show up and let them know exactly what's going on, because we're working on your behalf.
Okay.
And then the other one is that's not a dispensary, that's a cultivating center, unfortunately. That's where they actually grow the marijuana.
Right.
And believe me, we know, but we smell it right here at City Hall. So it's not just, it's all of us being affected by it. So I know that the state of Michigan is working on, definitely as it relates to certain equipment that has to be in these cultivating centers and making them do that. And then, of course, I'm sorry. And then what we'll do is then we'll enforce that as well. So know that we're working on that, okay? And then your last one is all of the brush is from the city for, again, the electrical problem, the down wires from the ice storm. All of that brush, it was like water in the back where we actually normally put the brush at, but it's hard for us to get inside without getting stuck down in there. So we're putting some gravel and all that good stuff in there. Of course, the DPW director can speak to that. But right now we have even people from the community, they're actually picking up stuff off of their neighbor's lawn, out streets, driveways, and bringing it over there so they have a place to put it. So we're going to get it back organized for you, so it don't look too bad over there, okay? All right, and then Councilman Chisholm has something for us. Go ahead, Councilman.
Mr. Mayor, just curious, what you were speaking of that's on the judge's docket,
Yeah.
Are you talking about her neighbors off of John Daly, or are you talking about a different area?
I'm talking about the issues that this is her second time coming to us, actually third time. coming to us?
On John Daly?
No,
Or Carlisle?
it's Bayham and Penn.
Oh,
Right behind her house.
Okay, because I was thinking you were talking about another
Russell.
one. No, when you said on the judge's docket, I thought we was talking about another issue that had been pending
Oh, I don't know.
off of Gertrude Court.
Oh, no. No, that's something totally different.
Okay, that's what
No,
I
that's
was
something totally
wondering.
different. You're
Okay.
talking about, no, that's something totally different. That has, Mr. Bivens is dealing with that, unfortunately. But yes, we're aware. Okay, we're gonna keep pushing for you, okay? Thank you. All right, you're welcome. All right. You ready, Ms. Thompson? I am. All right, come on. I'm excited about this one. This is gonna be a good one.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am Rose.
If you could, please speak into the mic because we're recording all of this. And, yep, thank you.
I am Rose Thompson. I am a member of Smith Chapel AME Church. And we are excited that we will celebrate our 100th year in Inkster, November of 2024. As a fundraiser to repair and restore our structure, we are designing a custom Monopoly game that will highlight the businesses and history of Inkster. The game will be called Inksteropoly and played with the same directions and guidelines of Monopoly. The design will be ours. All of the squares, cards, and pictures on the will be the participating businesses and history of Inkster. We're hoping that all of you will join in and make Inksteropoly a huge success. Our goal is to have all of the information to the manufacturer by the end of this month in order to have games in hand, ready to sell and play by the Inkster Fest and the Inkster High School reunion. We have information to share with you, and we will be on hand at the close of this meeting to answer questions and take your orders. Thank you.
How do you buy squares?
Okay, I want to show you.
Yeah, show us.
the quality of the game. This particular one was designed by Xavier University in New Orleans. And of course, all of that will be us. It will all be Inkster, and the board will be such as this. These are the squares, and the cards go here. Everyone, I'm sure, has played Monopoly at one time or another.
Turn it around this way so we can see it to the cameras too. Okay. That's nice. The clerk said how much for boardwalk she wants to.
All the squares are $500. The cards, the playing cards are $150 each, or three for $400. We have many historical things of Inkster that we will accept donations and or supporters to highlight, such as the Malcolm X House. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But the library, all of the things of Inkster, the Marvelettes, all of the history that we can get on this board, we want to have on the board to highlight and to really invigor pride in Inkster. My name is Rose. I have church members back here and around with me, and we will be here after the meeting closes to answer any questions and, of course, take orders. I'm trying to move fast because
That's good. Thank you so much.
And thank you.
Thank you. All right. C. Porter? C. Porter? And if you could just, your first name, just say your first name, please.
Charlotte to you. Good evening, Mayor and all council people and everyone here. This is my second time coming to you with this one particular concern with the water main break in front of my home. I just want to update you and enlighten you on what has transpired since then. I would like to thank Jerome Bivens first and foremost for being prompt. He came right out the very next day to assess the situation. He did inform me, however, that Inkster, the city did not come out and dig up my yard, that DTE did it. And that's why the DTE cones were sitting out. You know, the video I showed you guys last time. No. So DTE were out the same day that Mr. Bivens came. Later on that day, they were out taking our gas meters from the inside, putting them on the outside. So I had a chance to speak with them, to question them about the digging up process that I assumed they had done in front of my home. They informed me, however, they did not dig up anything in front of my home. Those are water main lines in front, and they have nothing to do with the water main lines. They were working in the back with gas lines. They also did notice that their DTE cones were out there when they put their flags out there, and they didn't understand why that was. They also mentioned to me, Mr. Bivens, that you came and spoke with them, okay, and that they explained to you that they did not do that?
I asked them to investigate.
Okay.
Get back to me, I haven't heard back.
Okay, so, and so far, anyway, I don't know who dug it up. The city say they didn't do it, DTE say they didn't do it, but it's still a big mess. It's worse now because of the snow, the ice, the rain, more snow. I took video again today. If you guys would like to see it, it's up to you, but you can probably pretty much imagine the mess. I can't hardly get in my home. You know, I came from the doctor's appointment. I'm trying to go this way to try to get in. I'm trying to go this way. I got to go almost all the way to Burton just about to try to avoid all this mud. And like I said, I babysit. The parents that bring their children to me are having a time bringing their children in car seats and diaper bags, and they got to fight with all the mud. It's just a big nuisance. And it's just really frustrating. I'm trying to give it time, you know, to let you guys see what you can do. But I did want to bring it back to your attention and enlighten you and update you since the last time that I was here. And I'm going to let you know. I don't know what else to do but to let you know and inform you.
I'll follow up with Mr. Bivers and we'll see what we can come up with to help you out. We're not going to leave it to them.
Because Mr. Bivers, you saw it.
We'll see
and I don't know if you've been back out since then. It's worse. Okay. It's worse. And if you, like I said, anytime you want, I do have video.
Okay, no, we're just going to pull up over there.
Oh, that'd be great.
All right.
You can see for yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, guys.
All right, you're welcome. All right. Mr. Henderson?
You go over there, stop that by. Stop. No, you got to see that.
Sir?
How's family doing, everybody?
Good.
My family, I got to call it like I know it.
That's right.
Every time I come here, a lot of time I get the munchies. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway. No, okay. No, because I guess I can't have it.
All right.
Anyway, beautification, cleanup, still a few things that I would like to have some time to really, I wanted to get it on the agenda at one time, but they said, well, maybe we can, maybe we, you know, but I would like to get it, because my whole group of beautification people would like to come, and we'd like to try to, you know, see if we can really, and one particular thing, I definitely want to get with code enforcement people. You know, they did their job when they put a little thing on my door because I had left some stuff out because I was trying to take some stuff away. And I want to, you know, see if we can really, these businesses, now, you know, we got some sure enough gangsters. They're making a lot of money and all that. They don't want to clean up their place. And there's some places that are really bad, really bad. And I know, code people go around and check out these places. I see them, you know. I don't be looking for them, but they just jump in, you just see them, you know. So I want to get with that, but I would like to get to be on the agenda as soon as possible, and I'm going to bring some of my, you know, I got a bunch of sweet elderly ladies, pretty much that's what beautification, we got a lot of people, mature people, they can't do too much, but, I try to do the heavy stuff, but they're concerned, they want to plant some flowers and stuff, but we want to get on the agenda, okay? I want to get seriously with code enforcement people, and I know you say the judge, it's up to judge to, summons these people and all that, and they suppose, and we want, the work organization, the program that we have to work through the court system, okay. We got to do some serious cleaning up, real, I got a sign right there on Middle Belt. It says, keep, Inkster beautiful. If somebody sprayed it, say, keep Inkster clean. And he left his spray can there. So if he was so concerned about keeping clean, why he dropped his can there? But that's, I should have got some fingerprints off it. Anyway, we got to do some serious and all that. And, I got a chance to talk to the senator and all that, the state rep, they need a proactive preventive maintenance program, and they need to reestablish the pecking order of the severity of who needs and what trees need to be trimmed. We got some old trees in our neighborhood, and growing up, they give you good shade in summertime, keep it cool. But we got to get those trees trimmed. But, we got a pecking order, and the pecking order is not right. They take care of other people's stuff and all that. They got communities that just got saplings, just tree ain't big like in our community. We got some big trees out there. Right. And they don't come through that area and check out those trees. They need, preventive maintenance. Okay. I talked with her name, Dana. And I try to explain that to her. Okay. And anyway, so we got to really, code people. Anybody here for code? Okay, so we're going to have to really get those business. And they gangsters. They ain't keeping their stuff clean. They making all the money.
We're on them. Believe me, but we're going to get with you as the beautification, president of the beautification committee. Right. We'll work together and then start strategically.
Yeah, we're
on it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
What day is you going to officially announce dump day? Because here it almost March. Okay. And we try to over at least in my area, I try to aware the people when dump day is. I even run a trailer to pick up the dump and all that.
You do a good job.
Okay. But
Okay.
When is that?
Okay, we starting in May.
In May.
You can't do it before then?
We used to do in April, but if we wanted to start an early start for that April, we can do that too.
Okay.
We went to May because in April not that many people came out. They said it's cold and usually weather. But if we can start April, and it's it's always the last Saturday of the month.
Okay.
Always the last Saturday of the month.
I appreciate it.
And one time we changed it because of that Memorial Day. We had it a little bit earlier. It wasn't the last, but usually.
Put some dumpsters out and let it
do it. We do it in April because, right there in May, that's when we have programs and stuff. So we like to get out there and inform the people, hey, dump day, let's get it up there. Because, we run the trailers. We got them trailers that we run. But, wait until May.
Well, people complain about April. They were saying it was too cold. Okay.
All right, thank you so.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
It's always the last Saturday of the month, run all the way to October.
All right. Thank you very much.
Love y'all.
Love you too.
Okay.
All right.
We'll be out.
Mr. Craig, I don't want to bat your last name. Please come up and say your name for the record, please.
Yeah, Craig Cabelka. I live on North River Park.
Okay.
They're doing a major project, water main coming through there.
Speaking to the mic if you could, please.
I live on North River Park.
Yes,
They're
sir.
doing a major project, water main coming through in there and all that. Would have been nice to get a notice to let us know what's going on or how it's going to end up.
Mr. Bibbins?
Mr. Mayor.
Make sure you sit up and speak to the mic.
Mr. Mayor, I heard that through the grapevine, but I went over there personally and talked to a resident, when he left the complaint and then he left the last council meeting about the fire hydrant. And I asked her, I said, did you get a letter? She lives 2 doors down from him. She got a letter. So I don't understand why.
So just tell us what happened. How was the?
It was
how-
mailed out. They
That's
were
what I'm
mailed
saying,
out.
okay.
Okay.
So you
Mailed
say
out.
you've done that. That's what I'm asking.
Right, we got a letter saying that they were gonna replace the water meter in my basement, and I needed to let a plumber in.
Okay,
And they're doing a water main project on the street.
okay.
That was the end of
And
this.
we put out flyers.
So.
Oh,
so-
did
And we
you?
went door to door with flyers.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, it's in the newspaper, but we'll try to do a better job in communicating with you as it
No, I mean,
relates
if
to
you
that.
couldn't have missed- I mean, I got nothing in my mailbox.
Okay, we'll just make sure that we do a better job in communicating with you. We do have your address here, and then also
No,
too.
it's over now. I mean, the project's going, so it's
Okay.
going on.
But we're definitely gonna work to,
No,
in
no,
the
I got it.
future. Yeah, but, we're doing some stuff. Okay,
Is it
Go
gonna
ahead.
end up, do you know how they're gonna end up doing the street?
how you gonna end up
We're
doing
gonna
this?
redo the street. We're gonna redo the street.
Concrete and curbs or asphalt?
Asphalt.
Good.
Okay, all right, you like asphalt, all right, Mr. Craig. All right, moving right into it. City Clerk?
I'd like to remind everybody that 2023 is a local election year for the city of Inkster. Nominating petitions are available in the clerk's office, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4. Come by if you have an interest and pick those items up.
All right. All right, City Treasurer? All right, Fire? Got anything for us? DPW, anything for us? Chief, Police, anything for us? Go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
March 8th through March 10th is a code enforcement blitz citywide. Vehicles that are abandoned or deemed abandoned will be tagged on the 8th and towed on the 10th if they still remain. This will be a citywide effort with police and ordinance. And I just want to say a couple of things regarding code enforcement because it seems to be an issue with council every time we have a council meeting, people show up with their complaints. But in the past, there used to be all these letters that went out. We'll send you a letter about this. We're going to send you a letter about that. You know that you need to keep your house and your area clean. You know that you should keep your business clean, right? Everybody here understands that. It's the ordinance. So from this point forward, all the letters that everybody keeps getting are going to stop. Your due process will be your ticket. You're going to get a ticket. You deal with the court with the ticket.
All right.
So, and I just want to remind everybody that's here that the citizens have mandated action. They want the city cleaned up. The mayor wants the city cleaned up. The council people want their districts cleaned up. So when you get your ticket, don't call me to fix it, because that ain't happening.
All right.
You need to go to court and answer to the judge about your violation. It is not a complaint. You're not going to complain about the ordinance officers. If you get a ticket, you deserved it. And I'm going to be out there from the 8th through the 10th. And I will be overseeing the operation myself, and we will make sure that if there are cars that need to be towed, or you have complaints regarding ordinance, get them to us so we can get the addresses out. Council people, if you have anything that in your districts that you're aware of that we need to look at, contact myself or Supervisor Triplett over ordinance. And you can reach me at 563-9873, 313-563-9873, and give your ordinance complaints to my office or reach Ms. Triplett. And this is going to be a quarterly event, these blitzes, until we get this under control. So there you have it. Thank you.
All right. Moving right into it. Councilwoman Wiley?
Yes, sir, thank you.
You're welcome.
To the citizenry, there have been several instances in the last month where we could have utilized our robocall policy. Notifying people about the street, notifying people when things come. Where are we at with that? Because last I heard, it was written, it was passed by us, and it was left in IT's hands. And they have not gotten back to us yet. Mr. Bivens even said it would come out of his budget. So there's no money issues here. So why aren't we utilizing this to notify the citizens when we're doing different things of this nature? So IT needs to get back with us, because they've had this since when, Councilman Chisholm? Do you know?
would say over, I guess, a year now.
Yeah, so like I said, there were several instances where we could have utilized that to notify just Inkster residents what was happening. And you know, intrinsically, we have a problem with communicating totally throughout the city. But this is one way we can let them know, you know, get your cars off the street, severe storms coming, warming center here, things like that. So I would like to know, or I would like IT to come to us and give us some explanation as to why nothing has been done about this. Okay?
That is a two-way street. People have to sign up for that too. So, you know, give us their information and that.
Is there anybody here that don't want to know what's happening in Inkster?
Yeah, I don't think that's the
Okay,
question.
all right, I was gonna take a
I don't think that's the
poll.
question, because as it relates to our website, we do have it where you can sign up on our website and get alerts from us directly right now as it relates to stuff. So,
The robocall policy is like an Amber Alert.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
just get it.
yeah,
You don't say, oh yeah, I want to hear about snow, but not rain.
yeah, for sure. I get it.
Okay. The second thing is that I have asked the Housing Commission to come and make a report to you, because there's a lot of good things that are happening over there. And one of them happened today, where they had a mobile SOS unit from the Secretary of State out there where you could come in, have your plates redone, have your emergency and there was no one in there. This is where you don't have to sit and stand in line. You complain about it, the Secretary of State's office, or pay extra money to use their kiosks or whatever like this. This was at the housing at 4500 Inkster Road today from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and they had hardly anybody there. So I ran into Commissioner Will.
Miller.
Yeah, Commissioner Miller, thank you. And he said they were going to try and do it again, but this time, once again, we want to try and get the word out to people so they can take advantage of this, because this is a boon for us. And I'm encouraging, like other organizations and locations within the city, we might want to join with them and have a location centralized for this type of thing, because this is a benefit to you, so you should want it. Another thing is, with the Housing Commission, they also sent out a newsletter about the successes in 2022. And they've done quite a few things. I can just let you know a few of the things. They've instituted all kinds of programs, like for self-sufficiency, and that's for families as well as their residents there. They have had just a number of things. And I have this, and I'd like to send it to my council people if they'd be interested in seeing it, because during this year, they've purchased and installed air conditioning units for a lot of the apartments there, over 120. And that's in Twin Towers, and you know how they complain about how they're like that, so that was done this year. They had $500,000 in landscaping improvements. There was the renovarization of apartments. There was parking improvements that they purchased and installed carbon monoxide detectors. So there's a lot of good things happening there. And the city should know about it. Even though they don't come under our purview, they're still a part of the city of Inkster. So we should share in these successes. Now, I've tried to tell them to come before us and make a report.
They
But
came last year, and I know Aaron Cooper said that he's coming this year, so we're just waiting for him.
Well,
But he did come last year with his
This is the stuff
report.
they sent me.
Yeah, so he's coming this
And she called me, because it's right across the street from me. But I think these are really great ideas, and I think we should get on board with them, because not a lot of great stuff is happening right now. So we want to, I had to do that. I did. But anyway, so we want to make sure, and if anybody would like a copy of what was sent to me, let me know, and I will send it to you. And I believe that's it for me.
All right, Councilman Shaw?
Mr. Chair, I just have a couple of things. I want to thank the chief for announcing the blitz, because we do have several things in the district, my district as well, with abandoned cars. I think I got one on Colonial right now that's been there for several weeks now. And also on different parking on the street. Now, I talked about last council meeting about the signs, Now, there are some signs that has been knocked down or are missing, and then we have cars thinking that they can park on both sides of the street, and they can't. So, you know, in that blitz, how do we really kind of deal with that? You know, because they thinking that it's, you know, they can park there. I mean, you got an area down that's coming off of Center and Colonial, and they parking both sides of the street, you know what I mean? But the sign is supposed to be there, but it's gone. So, you know, how do we deal with that, you know?
Yeah. Councilman, you know the information, just get with Mr. Bivens and let him know. And
Yeah,
then
and
he'll get those signs right up.
Yeah, and we talked about that, you know, we talked about that on the last council meeting. But I mean.
This particular area?
Yeah.
The Colonial?
And
Both sides of
also.
the street? Okay. I didn't
And
hear that. I
also,
apologize.
I'm sorry.
I
Mr.
got
Chair.
you. Go ahead.
And also on Oakwood, we have a situation like that.
So Colonial?
And then I talked about last time on the council,
In Oakwood.
the graffiti at 28549 Glenwood as well. But I can also get with Mr. Bivens, you know, also. But I usually get with Miss Triplett, Miss Latoya Joyce Triplett. I want to thank her also. I know Jerome is busy with, you know, some other projects, but she's my go-to person. I just want to thank her tonight for the fine job she has been doing in helping out the residents in the city of Inkster. I mean, returning phone calls, I mean, being very professional. And Latoya, Ms. Triplett, I want to say thank you, you know, publicly for the fine job that you have been doing, I know, for me and my members. And I want to thank you on behalf of my members as well.
I know I know we got two people. He said Latoya. You talking about Latoya? Yeah, good. Yeah, okay, good. Latoya? Okay, I got you. I always say Blandon. She gonna be Blandon. Yeah, good.
And also, I want to thank the fire chief and our first responders, because during the power outage, I know that the chief was sending us updates concerning DTE, and I want to thank you for that, you know, for keeping us informed. You know, I was able to, you know, answer calls and tell them exactly, because my power was out for those many days, and I tell you, you know, it was definitely a praying matter for us, you know, to be out, you know, in the cold without power. You know, I can remember generators running through the night like people was cutting grass, you know, in the dark. So I want to thank, you know, our first responders. You know, I know you was getting inundated with many calls, and I heard the engines running, and we had the fire department come on my block, and they were, you know, they were really friendly, you know, doing their community service, and I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. And I just, on the last thing that I have, Mr. Mayor, I just want to honor all of our ladies, all of the women. This is Women's Month in the month of March, and I just want to salute my women colleagues and also the ladies in the audience. I want to say thank you for all that you do in your family lives in honoring women on today. I didn't have my purple on, but I'm going to wear my purple next council meeting, you know, just in honor of our women. And that's all I have, Mr.
Chair. Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. First thing I was going to ask, could we just get an update from the fire chief about the radio tower? I saw we had got an email, and that was it. So I just, or either him or Mr. Bivens.
Yes, sir, that tower has been taken down. I had a crew come out, and the one that was bent over at the station, yeah, it's been removed, because that was a definite hazard.
Okay.
I was waiting on it to blow down on top of someone,
No,
so.
we did it right then when we sent out the email and said it, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool, thank you. And then the second thing was, last council meeting, I had spoken a resolution that the rep's office has sent out. So I was just wondering if anybody had an opportunity to look at, or maybe if they gave their feedback back to that office or that group of people where it came from, because they reached out to me and asked. So I just wanted to touch base with everybody. That's all. If not, no, then okay. Also,
Is this reference our our August representative?
Yeah, regarding
at
the
state
Inkster,
level?
regarding the Inkster school debt.
Oh,
Just asking us to, I guess, basically get on board with whatever initiative is coming down the pipeline.
didn't he already have some initiative to take care of? He did? I'm sorry. I apologize.
And so, and this is actually Inkster housing. It's both in Councilwoman Watley's area and Councilman Williams' area. But of course, you know, the last development that came through hit the planning commission and then came to us, and they talked about a table talk. So I'm not necessarily trying to steal either one of my colleagues' shine, but I had saw this on the city's website for their table talk that's to take place on Wednesday, March 8th, which is regarding the development that's over there that a lot of citizens in Inkster housing were not 100% aware of and kind of a little bit confused about. They wanted to provide clarity. So I just wanted to put that reminder out there as well, because people were asking questions at the planning commission level. They came before city council, were asking, and of course they're probably still out in the community and asking, but it's supposed to take place on March 8th at 1 p.m. at the Lemoyne Management's office at 29999 Pine Street. And then also, if you can't make that one, there's one in the evening at 5:30 p.m. And that one would be at the IHC main office at 4500 Inkster Road. So there's one at 1 p.m. at the Lemoyne Management office, and there's one at 5:30 p.m. at the Inkster Housing Commission main office, and they're both on the same day. So please, for those residents who were asking about that development that we've all voted on and everything like that, so the website is incorrect then? Okay. So the first one is 10 a.m. Okay. So 10 a.m. So there's one table talk. Do you all have an updated flyer that you could get over to us? Because we had the wrong one on.
Okay. Please CC me on that too, so we can get that up to you. Okay.
Okay, because I'm reading this right.
I'm gonna keep you.
Okay.
You need to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, thank you for that. So 10 a.m. for those watching live and streaming to March 8th at 10 a.m. And that's at which location now? It's still in Lemoyne Gardens at the Lemoyne Management office. Okay, thank you. And then the last thing was just piggybacking on what Councilwoman Watley was speaking to, the robocall policy. Yeah, just a refresher, we did ask IT to investigate if that was something in the phone service or systems that we have now, just to alleviate some of the costs. And then if not, let's go out to a outside vendor or entity. So that was just an additional option in conjunction with what's on the website to sign up for and things of that nature. So yeah, that's the follow-up we need, is the information back. Yes, This is something we investigated. We have this package, we have this system, and this is why we can't opt into it. Or, I'm sorry, we can opt into it or we can't opt into it. And then that way we know if we need to seek out an outside vendor and I'm getting tongue-tied, in order to use that system and get the word out to the populace that we're underserving in the community.
Okay.
As far as communication. So that's all I have. Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay. Thank you. You did a good job, Secretary. Okay. I just need to bring a couple things, Mr. Mayor, I need to have done over in my area.
All right.
I know that at the last meeting, we had a contractor that was indicating taking some of the infrastructures over there and bringing them up. And but right over there where the seniors live at, right in the back of there, we got a lot of debris there, and I need some.
Where are they?
Okay, what's the name of it?
St. Clement, man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all back up in there. I don't have no task force to go back up in there and clean it up. If you can get Mr. Bibbins to help us out.
Yep.
You know.
Shake a look at that, please.
Yeah, because we need to get that up.
Okay.
Because we've been keeping it pretty clean right there, but then somehow somebody got us.
Okay.
So,
I got you.
You know, so
I didn't get you, but I'm saying I'm gonna go over there and get your stuff.
You ain't able to. And I'm glad he brought up about the meeting, because even though you don't live in Lamont Garden or nowhere around there, you as a taxpayer, or you a person that you need to be there. Okay? You know, we got a bad habit in this city, always hollering about, well, they say this gonna happen, and they say this gonna happen. Come out and find out for yourself what's gonna happen. You know, I'm serious, you know, we could turn this whole city around, make it the greatest city in the world if we just start getting involved and quit listening to what they say. We got a bad habit that they say stuff. I mean, I can go all night long with the they say, but, you know, like I'm saying is, you know, we got a great city here, you understand? And I think each and every last one of you need to get involved. You need to get involved in your city and do whatever you can do. I'm looking forward for a lot of y'all. Gabe stood up, but Gabe get kind of nervous when he be talking. But yeah, but Moses talked up. Moses talked up though. But y'all need to get with Dave and the rest of us and on cleanup day, because you know we ride up and down the street. I mean, I got a trailer that I purchased. I rise up and down the street. If you got anything that need to be dumped in the dumpster, me and the board, the men, we grab it and we take it on to the dump. Okay, as simple as that. We've been keeping that area over there real clean. You know, I beg pardon? Somebody say something about the area? Where you at? District 3? Yeah, you in District 3, that's why.
Okay, you got
I'm in District 1. I'm in District 1. Yeah, I got a trailer for District 1.
Okay, we're in session. That's all fun, you know.
And we'll go over there if you just call us, okay?
You got anything else for us? For the general?
No, I don't have nothing else, Mr. Mayor. I better quit while I'm ahead.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem.
I just have one thing for my colleagues. I was just informed by the mayor today that we did get the RFPs in for the city attorney. So I'm asking each and every one of you to email the city clerk to find out what date you guys can hold a special meeting to look at them, and also maybe she can have copies ready for you by the end of this week, if that's not.
We could scan them.
Scan them
and send them to everybody? Yeah.
Yeah, scan.
And then, of course,
Okay.
we'll have hard copies for you, but we'll
Right,
scan them.
and then just email the city clerk your preference on when you want to have a meeting to look over. That's all I have.
All right, thank you so very much. All right, just for the general public, for the first time ever, the Conference of Western Wayne will be meeting in Inkster. It's the 38 communities that they pretty much convene every month. So all of the mayors and supervisors, we all get together in other communities. This is the first time ever that they're going to host it in Inkster. So it'll be on March the 10th, which is this Friday at 8:30 a.m. right here in the council chambers. At those meetings, you hear from our state representatives, well, the state representatives from across the 38 communities, of course, our congressperson, our senators are there. It's just a really informative meeting. So please, our colleagues, of course, if you all could come out as well. But to the general public, this chamber will be hosting that for the first time, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a really good meeting. It's this Friday, March the 10th at 8:30 a.m. here at the City Hall.
How long does that run?
It's typically a 2-hour meeting, so it doesn't run too long. But we'll be here, and again, I know that the topic is going to be DTE for certain, as it relates to the 38 communities coming together, as it relates to our legislative agenda. All right. Anything else? Hearing none, motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there support? Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Say nay, you can stay.
Go home.